Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Hannibal reaction. I will, for some reason my brain was like, The Expanse, and it's like, no, I finished The Expanse like months ago. Why am I thinking of, we're watching Hannibal. Hi, hello everybody. How are you guys doing? So, yes, last time on Hannibal, what happened? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I realized this while booting up the episode. I hate the name of these episodes because like every episode name is like a, I don't know, like a French, Italian French word for like a food or a dessert or like a part of a food or something. I hate them because that makes me not be able to recognize which episode was which. Like they all like kind of merged together. I was like, was it the angel making? No, that was 2 weeks ago. Which one was last episode? And it was episode very center about Jack Crawford. Well, we had two of those in a row, but we learn about the Cheesecake Ripper. I think it's pronounced Chesapeake. I think that's what it is pronounced. But I kind of want to keep the cheesecake thing rolling, so we'll see what we do there. Okay, so it was the Cheesecake Ripper episode. We found out who it was, and it turns out it was Hannibal all along. So there you go. There was one guy. I forgot his name. No, I forgot his name. There was the one guy inside of the mental institution who I think murdered his family, and that's why he was in there. But then the guy who ran the institute, some asshole dude, Chill Bell, something like that. The doctor, he kind of forced that guy in order to believe that he himself was the Cheesecake Ripper, which made him kill that nurse in that manner. But it was not exactly the same. The wounds were done posthumously, which is not what the Cheesecake Ripper usually does. So it was the whole thing of like, is he the real one? Is he a copycat? What are we doing? And then at the end of the episode, it was revealed that it was actually Hannibal, who is the Cheesecake Ripper. So he also killed Jack Crawford's trainee, Miriam, and Jack feels really guilty about that. But then Hannibal also kind of taunts him through the entire episode. He's like, at the end of the episode, he like gives him like a hand with like a cell phone, but he also calls and plays the one voice sound file that he had of Miriam asking for help before she got murdered, allegedly, years ago. And then he did that to Jack Crawford, and he even called from his own home, which is like, ugh, that guy got in. So that was a whole thing. So yeah, there we go. I felt like there was something that I thought about and then I forgot what I wanted to say. Like across this like week that happened, I feel like there was something that I thought about during the edit and I forgot to mention just now. But if I remember it, I'll say. I don't even remember if there was something I wanted to say. But if there's something, I'll remember and I'll figure it out later. Anyway, this is just a random update. Something that happened in the weekend is that I got my first vaccination shot. It was actually this one. So I got my first shot of a vaccine. If you're watching this in the faraway future, which some people might, we live in the cursed year of 2021. The cursed year was 2020, but 2021 is still kind of the expansion of it, where disease is out there and it's bad. But I got my first vaccination shots. That's good. The only reason why I'm telling you this is because I was maybe expecting to get sick or something and unable to record, and that could still happen. I don't know how many days afterwards it can happen, but it's been now 2 days because it's Monday, and I feel pretty good. My arm was a little bit hurting yesterday, but today it's good. So I don't think there should be any issues with the release of these episodes, but if anything happens, I'll make like an extra video explaining that. But yeah, anyway, that is the timeline of events. I feel like now we may be able to just begin watching Hannibal. So yes, without further ado, I think we can just begin. So Hannibal, and I have to check the number of the episode because I literally cannot keep track of them because of the titles. But this one is called Sorbet. which is a name of one of the two guys in JoJo Part 5 who got fucking... Wait, which one is the... Was it Sorbet the one that was... Sorbet and Gelato. Yes. I like that they have their own, like, entry together. On literally every weekend. Sorbet and Gelato. Which one was the one that got... I think it was Sorbet. I think. Anyway. So there you go. I'm thinking of JoJo. JoJo's my favorite show, by the way. Anyway, so... Let's begin. Hannibal, Season 1, Episode 7. Let's go.
Consistently theatrical.
Yes, theatrical is a good word. So Hannibal is a theater kid. That's what you're saying. Oh god, wait, what is this? I hate it. I hate whatever this is. Why did you have to do it like that? Why was that shot necessary? Of course he attends to things like this. Who else is here? Wait, is that the guy from several episodes ago that they just showed me in the recap? Hannibal's patient? Oh, he's the one that just stands up and goes like, oh yeah, beautiful. That was truly beautiful.
It's been too long since you properly cooked first, Hannibal.
His eyes kept wandering. More interested in you than what was happening on stage.
Oh, don't say too much. You must leave something for us to discuss next week. Franklin, good to see you. You too, Lance.
This is going to matter. Otherwise, why show this? There's no one here. Is this real? He's gonna see Miriam's dead body on the phone. Yeah. Jack's not doing well.
The last time the window closed, I lost the Ripper and I lost Miriam Glass. I don't intend to do that again.
Determined. We're doing the thingy. Show me a pendulum. Oh, the moves. Oh, that is getting in the way of his work.
I take his heart in my hand.
Oh, man.
Internal cardiac massage. This wasn't brutal.
Mm-hmm.
The killer wasn't killing, he was trying to save his life.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Knife wounds are cuts, not stabs. Anatomical knowledge, dissection skills, mutilation, organs removed, victim clothed, on display. We got 22 signature components, all attributable to the same killer.
22 possible signature components.
It's the Ripper.
Okay. Watch that guy be the killer. One of the members of the cast was a killer.
This is a medical student or a trainee or someone trying to make an extra buck in back alley surgery and it went bad.
Tell me how you see the Ripper, Will.
Okay, describe.
One of those pitiful things, sometimes born in hospitals. They feed it, keep it warm, but they don't put it on the machines. They let it die. But he doesn't die. He looks normal. Nobody can tell what he is.
I like the haircut.
Please come in.
I like that haircut.
I kind of thought you'd be
Oh,
there.
so you were after
Which is
him.
why I was there. I was there
Okay.
because I like that sort of thing. It just occurred to me that you might like it too.
What is this guy's agenda?
I really don't know who you are outside this room.
I'm your psychiatrist.
I want you to be my friend.
Of
Oh,
course you do.
okay.
I have intimate knowledge of you.
And we like the same things. I think that we would make good friends. It makes me sad that I have to pay to see you.
Oh, this guy is... It's a little bit sad, honestly. He just wants someone to talk to.
I am a source of stability and clarity, Franklin. I'm not your friend.
I was listening to Michael Jackson last night, and I burst into tears. I will never get to meet him. And I feel like if I was his friend,
What if...
I would have been able to help save him from himself.
Oh. I feel like...
In this Michael Jackson fantasy, how is your friendship returned?
I feel
I just get to touch greatness.
like this guy is a couple steps from snapping and becoming murderous himself. I see a future where randomly he just decides to kill Hannibal and Hannibal kills him instead. What's
What would be
this?
the point otherwise?
Is she your psychiatrist?
Well, one of us has to be honest. I have conversations with a version of you. And hope that the actual you gets what he needs. But you are wearing a very well-tailored person suit.
Oh, she's good.
Do you refer to me as person suit?
Is she real?
Psychiatrist friend?
I think she is.
I don't discuss patients with my psychiatrist friends. Especially since I only have one patient who chose to ignore my retirement. It must be lonely.
I have friends. And the opportunities for friends. You and I are friendly.
I'm not your friend, I'm your
patient.
psychiatrist.
And my colleague. My friend.
Oh, that's great. So, oh hey,
Good evening, Will. Please come in.
I like this episode. It's very interesting.
I have an unconventional psychiatrist.
Well, we have that in common.
Yeah, you do.
Am I your psychiatrist, or are we simply having conversations?
At this point, yes.
Yes, I think is the answer to that.
Yes. I like that.
What was the brutalization hiding?
Shh.
The careful surgical removal and preservation of vital organs.
Jack's looking for a serial killer he can't seem to catch. It's a brilliant diversion.
Interesting theory.
Business card, please. For my records.
Have we met before?
Okay, a little bit. There we go. Dead body? Give me a hardcore to a dead body. There we go. Oh, shit!
You could put the organs on a ventilator long enough to coordinate the donation. At the hotel, the victim's abdominal aorta and inferior vena cava, that's like the kidneys in and out for blood, were entirely removed.
They're like USB cables. You keep them intact for an easy reconnect.
Where Cheesecake Ripper wants to perform. But every brutal choice has elegance. Mutilations hide the true nature of his crimes.
But they still haven't reached cannibalism.
I taste oak. What else do I taste in there?
Is there like blood or some shit?
Will does that too, you know?
What? Have a fast.
Flirtatiously change the subject. You have that pathology in common.
We just have you in common. I recall even before I met Will, you never spoke about him.
Probably because I just want everybody to leave him alone. Jack's obsessed with the Chesapeake Ripper and he's grooming Will to catch him.
And I sincerely hope he does.
What is this nightmare? He's gonna see either his wife or Will dead. Because it's not gonna be the same nightmare. I'm thinking this time he'll see Will or his wife. I'm thinking Will. Or her body's displayed somewhere. Will, I knew. Because he's kind of using Will as a Miriam 2.0. So now he's afraid that Will meet the same fate as Miriam did. He has all these recipes and shit. On all these people.
They're all missing different organs.
Okay.
Before, we were looking at waiting lists for a heart or a kidney. Now we're looking at hearts, kidneys, livers, stomachs, pancreases, lungs. This guy, he's missing a spleen. A spleen!
Intestines are the only organ missing from this body?
Yes, right. So we're either looking for someone with short bowels or Ripper's making sausage.
Dad! Think about what he just said.
He could be exporting them to China. The Chinese have a cultural taboo that restricts voluntary donation. You gotta die with all your parts or you dishonor mommy and daddy. And you can still kill a guy for parts that doesn't break that taboo. I was agreeing with you. Well, I was. Okay.
Oh my god, it's too... Okay. Here's the thing.
Jesus, my passion.
This guy's been following
You're
Hannibal.
a tyromancer.
He's stalking him. Because he wants to be his friends.
Being alone comes with a dull ache, doesn't it?
It can.
Oh, that's a good shot. I like that one. That shot's really good. Woo! Okay. A nightmare.
It's better that it's just the two of us. Dad,
Yes.
there's someone else here.
Okay, we're back.
Well, Well,
He was asleep, but he wasn't even sleeping.
Must have fallen asleep.
His eyes were open. I think they were.
Was I sleepwalking?
A little bit.
your eyes were open.
Yes.
But you were not present. Displaying one's enemy after death has its appeal in many cultures.
These aren't the Ripper's enemies. These are pests he's swatted.
The reward for their cruelty.
He doesn't have a problem with cruelty. The reward is for undignified behavior. These dissections are to disgrace them.
Takes their organs away because in his mind they don't deserve them.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the other victims. The Ripper had no reason to humiliate Miriam Lass.
Seems to me he was humiliating someone.
He was humiliating Jack.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Did it?
I'd say it worked really well.
Oh, god damn it. He got a confirmation.
We have a lead.
Oh, no.
Do you care to help us catch the Ripper?
God fucking damn it!
Digital trunk systems.
Yeah.
Jack,
Yeah.
if the ambulance radio is on, I can use the DF sweep to find it.
Good. This is very educational.
Okay.
Show me your hands.
I can't.
Dr. Lecter!
Fucking.
He was removing his kidney. Poorly. I can stop the bleeding.
Do it.
Okay. So this is the guy from the first case this episode that removed the heart.
What became of Mr. Sylvester Stoner?
You saved his life.
Well,
Been a long time since I used a scalpel on anything but a pencil.
debatable.
I just stopped being a surgeon.
I killed someone. Or, more accurately, I couldn't save someone, but it felt like killing them. I transferred my passion for anatomy into the culinary arts. I fixed minds instead of bodies, and no one's died as a result of my therapy.
I have a date with the Cheesecake Ripper.
Oh, is that Ripper's?
Devin Silvestri was harvesting organs, but not with the Ripper. There's no connection between them.
Oh, that's a good shot. I like the effect. Yay, we're all cannibals. This fucking guy.
Before we begin, you must all be warned. Nothing here is vegetarian.
It's fucking asshole. Okay, this episodes are becoming less and less episodic, which I kind of like. But it's weird because I still feel like they're going to be, and then they're not. Like, for some reason, I keep... Like, okay, so we see this murder with this one guy in the tub, and it's like, well, this is not a Hannibal murder. This is not a Chesapeake Reaper murder. So, then I was like, well, maybe it's going to be episodic and we're going to follow that. But then it's like, no, we are going to catch the guy at the end of the episode. But that's not what the episode is even about. So most of the episode, we spend time with Hannibal. And yeah, it's mostly Hannibal, actually, this episode. Like, most scenes include Hannibal. So what's happening is that now that we're trying to catch Chesapeake Ripper because he's taunted Jack Crawford, like, severely. Now Hannibal is getting himself involved with the investigation, which is like, god damn it. Like, that's why they reveal that Hannibal is the Chesapeake Ripper. Like, that's the reason why they revealed the previous episode. Because now we're gonna follow the Chesapeake Ripper storyline, and now you get to see that this motherfucker is actively getting involved with the investigation in subtle ways, in very subtle ways, because like he's already involved with Will, he's already involved with Jack Crawford, he's involved with Alana Pierce. Is that no? Wait, Bloom. What am I thinking? Alana Pierce is like a YouTuber, right? Alana Pierce. Yeah, she's a YouTuber. Sorry, I was thinking of a YouTuber. She has white hair. She's cool. She's Australian. She has a nice accent. That's literally all I know about her. But Alana Bloom. So, yes, he's already involved with like literally every single one of them. And so the thing is that it's not too difficult for Will to just walk in and they just start talking. And I like that he has that moment where it's like, are we having like, are we like a psychiatrist patient kind of thing? Like, are we talking because I'm your psychiatrist, or are we just chatting because like a friendly chat? And I like that Will's response was yes. Like, I like that. That's like a meme response, but I kind of like it. I always like it. It's whenever it's like, is it this or this? Yes. Yes, and that's it. That's the answer. And I like that that was the answer, but I also like that Hannibal asked the question, because it's kind of, it a little bit follow the rule of three, which is usually when the third one hits, it when it actually hits. And what I mean by that is that you have Hannibal, and I forgot his name. I want to say his name was like Franklin or something like that. The guy that was at the opera that is trying to make friends with Hannibal. So we have him and Hannibal, and he's like, I just want to be your friend. And Hannibal is like, I'm your psychiatrist, I'm not your friend. Then you go to Hannibal, and he's seeing a psychiatrist himself, which is someone that has retired. I don't know her name, but this lady is retired, and Hannibal continues to visit her and is like, you are my psychiatrist. You are like the one person I can talk about things, even though he's not sharing the details of what he's doing. That lady is like, well, whatever is you're hiding, and whatever, I don't care. So we can talk about everything else. And I like that Hannibal has a moment where he doesn't sound as desperate as with like Frank, as like the dude it was, where he was like, are we friends or something like that. But the lady said, I care about you professionally as like a patient, but like I will serve like a wine or glass before you leave, but that's kind of it. I'm not your friend. But then when it hits to Hannibal and Will, Hannibal is, we have the moment where it's like, are we just a patient psychiatrist relationship, or are we just casually just talking about things? And Will is actually like, yeah, sure. And Hannibal, I like that Hannibal, contrary to the other guy, I forgot what the fuck his name was. I really don't know. But the guy from the opera, the cheese guy, there we go, the cheese guy. Oh my god, the Cheesecake, it's coming back together. It's coming back together. The Cheesecake Ripper and the cheese guy. But they don't get along, because it's the Ripper. So, anyway, the cheese guy, there's this awesome mirror between what Hannibal sees him as and when he sees Will and what he sees him as. And it's the idea that when the cheese guy is talking to him, Hannibal does not care. He's like, whatever, you're my patient. This is my job, man. But he has like no interest in him. But when he hangs out with Will, you can see that he is interested in Will. You can see that he's engaging in the conversations. And it's not just because he's an FBI agent tracking the Cheesecake Ripper case and he tries to influence the case. Yes, to a degree, that is what he's doing, but I don't think that's the reason why he's doing it. I think he has a genuine interest in Will because Will is this weird guy that is able to understand serial killers and shit. So Hannibal is like, well, I'm weird and I'm lonely, because he is. And they talked about it a little bit in this episode, the idea that Hannibal is lonely. Because that would explain things. Because I read like YouTube comments that people have dropped on these videos being like, apparently Hannibal has like, I don't know, 60 hours in a day, which would be awesome. Because it's the idea that Hannibal is able to like track victims, like investigate on them, fuck with them, then be able to go and murder them, and then be able to deal with the bodies and store them and cook and everything. And is able to be so knowledgeable and also do his job and keep his cover. And it's like, yes. And also sleep. It's like, how does he have the time to do all of that? And the answer, I don't think is realistic. But still, the answer that you can kind of get a little bit is the idea that Hannibal has no friends. Hannibal kind of doesn't have a social life other than what we see him have Okay? So Hannibal's only like friends or social interaction is his patients, which he has no attachment to, and the people that he's using in order to get away with crime in the FBI. But also I can tell that he probably has some weird attachment to, at the very least, Will, and I'm gonna say maybe Alana and Jack a little bit too. And Abigail, we haven't seen Abigail in like 3 episodes, so that's weird. But like, yes, like I think he has a weird attachment to them as well. But like, that's it. Like, the only interactions that we see on camera is everything Hannibal gets as like social interaction. So everything else that he does in his day is related to being a serial killer. So that's his life. That's his life. That's his entire life. Just like, all right, I'm a psychiatrist, I have my patients, and then I got the murder, and then he sleep, and that's it. There you go. I still think it's unrealistic that he's able to do all of that, but if there was one area in his life that it's lacking, it would be in the social aspect. So they tackle into the idea that Hannibal is lonely. The reason why he's lonely is because he's misunderstood, and the reason why he's misunderstood is because he's a fucking psycho. But that doesn't mean that he's not lonely. So, and if we're gonna follow this character, because the name of the show is this character, then we might as well try to understand them. So there you go. That's what's happening. But I like that like, the thing is that the only people that he feel like he could connect with are people that could understand, hence Will, but also the difference between the cheese guy. Because the cheese guy is literally like, just like, we both like opera, man. He probably doesn't even like it. He went there just because Hannibal would be there, which is something he kind of admitted, but then he was like, oh, I like opera too, actually. And then he's like, we both like cheese. And it's like, oh my god, dude. Just like, listen, man, like, I think cheese is great. I would not be like, oh yeah, cheese is my passion. Cheese is my hobby. Like, I enjoy cheese with like a lot of foods. Maybe like most of them, personally. But if you approach me and be like, bro, we both love cheese, I would be like, a little bit weird. Kind of don't want to talk to you anymore. So the thing is that with Hannibal, it's like, we have like nothing in common. He doesn't understand me as a person. And most people don't understand Hannibal as a person. And, oh, that's good. It's the idea that Hannibal talked to his psychiatrist, the lady, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but the conversation kind of went in the direction of Hannibal being like, we're not friends. And the lady is like, no, you're my patient. But the idea that Hannibal would like to consider her a friend because she understands him. She doesn't know about the murderer side of him, but she understands that there's something else and kind of understands the real version of him. She doesn't know the specifics, but she's like, well, I can read you. So that's why Hannibal feels understood, and then he kind of wishes that his relationship with her would be closer, at which point she's like, we're not close, we're not friends. Then, moving to Will, Will understands them, and to a degree Hannibal understands Will too. So there's this weird bond that forms between them, but also one of them is the killer and the other one is the investigator trying to find the killer. So there you go. And I know this is the premise of the show. It's not something new, but it is becoming more and more clear and apparent, and they keep driving the point harder. But now we understand that the reason why Hannibal, like, we know for sure because the show wants us to know, is the idea that Hannibal is lonely. And the idea that Hannibal, like, the people that to Hannibal matter the most, that he kind of wants to connect with in some fashion, are the people that would understand Hannibal as a person the most. And the reason why I bring this up is because it is easy to just grab a psychopath or a sociopath and just be like, well, that guy is just a heartless motherfucker and whatever. He just goes and kills people, and we just get to just ignore him. and just be like, yeah, whatever, that's who you are. Sure, we'll catch you and whatever, we'll deal with you. Hannibal is not like that because, again, he's kind of the main character. Not really. Will is the main character, but he's the name of the show. So he's kind of the main character. So the thing is that we have to care for him and we have to understand him, and he has to be complex to a degree. And he is. It's the idea that he's not just a random serial killer. He's a serial killer, but also he's a person. And serial killer is part of the person. And the thing is that we get to see, like, okay, so Hannibal comes off as cold in many of the scenes he's in, if not every scene. But if you look at it a little bit deeper, you can see that there's more to that. And I like that I can see it. And in this episode, it became very apparent that he comes off as cold and he comes off as detached. And in many ways, he is detached and cold. But at the same time, he kind of wishes he had more than that. So that's why he would like to have friends with people that would understand that side of him a little bit more. And accept him as such. That also circles back to Abigail a little bit. Because Abigail is someone that Hannibal can relate to a little bit. Just like, you kill people, I kill people. You ate people, I ate people. And the idea that Hannibal is like, I'll keep your secret. And Abigail is like, I'll keep yours. And the thing is that Abigail does have like a couple like psychopathic tendencies. Like, not fully. She's not like detached and everything because she cared. But the idea that given the proper direction, Abigail could grow up to be like Hannibal. And I think that is what he's trying to do. I would like to see more scenes with Abigail now, with this context. The idea that Hannibal wants to have people in his life that he could feel like they see him, they understand him for what he is. So Abigail is like the closest thing to that. So I would like to see more scenes with her and Hannibal and see where that goes. Though I feel like that is more of a work in progress than anything else. So yeah, that. Now I feel like I understand Hannibal a little bit better. It's not something crazy. It's something that I could have probably like pierced together on my own. But I like that the show is just telling me this is what it is. This is the kind of person he is. So I like that. I like that a lot. And this fucking guy, the cheese guy, the fact that he's in here and actually makes sense, it's crazy to me. Anyway, so let's focus more on like the plot. So the plot, Hannibal is actively getting involved in the investigation and he's nudging it in weird directions. So what is the thing that he says? He offers Hugo's valuable organs. And then he go organ harvesters. Jack's looking for a serial killer he can't seem to catch. It's a brilliant diversion. Interesting theory. It's the idea that he's like, well, maybe he's harvesting the organs because, well, that's the thing. Is that they were going on the assumption that the Cheesecake Ripper was someone that just killed people for fun. For fun, just kind of kill people because I need to like show it and display, and it's like because it's like it's theatrical, you know, like all the bodies are displayed, and it's like, yeah, okay. So the fact that he ripped the organs is not something that was necessarily crucial of the organs mattering, but because he just got off on it. Like the idea that I'm killing people, might as well rip their organs out because it's part of my signature, man. But now Hannibal's bringing the interesting idea of like maybe they're harvesting the organs, and it's like, that could be the case. But now they're operating on the idea that we are like we're selling the organs, so like a black market, you know, overseas even could be. Like the dude had a funny sheet, like the the science team, the two dudes had a funny scene talking about China and being like, yeah, well, in China, they could be selling it to China for all we know. And then the other goes, well, in China, you have this thing where organs are actually kind of a sacred thing, and you dishonor your family if they like fuck with them in any way, unless it's like after the person had died. And the other guy goes, yeah, that's why it makes sense. And the other guy was, well, yeah, I was agreeing with you. And the first guy goes, oh, okay. I didn't know because of your tone. It kind of sounded like you were like, and Jack is like, okay, shut up. Shut up. Let's focus on the stuff in your hand. That was like a fun little scene with those two characters. So I like that a little bit. But, okay, here's the thing. What was I talking about? Literally, what was I talking about? Oh, the idea that Hannibal was nudging the investigation in the idea that they're taking the organs and like selling them or something. And they are taking the organ, like, yes, you should be focusing on the organs. That is maybe a little bit of a good clue that Hannibal left. You should be focusing on the organs more than the killing. Well, that's something I don't know, actually. What is more important to Hannibal, the killing or the organs? Well, if we go by the name, I think the most important part are the organs, because he gets to eat them. But he doesn't need to be theatrical with the murders. So he definitely cares about the murder part too. So that is something that Will can probably put together and he's operating on. It's the idea that he cares about the murders, but he also cares about the organs. But he's not selling the organs, he's eating them. But they have no way of knowing that. But they could theoretically find that out eventually. But yeah, there we go. So Hannibal nudged the investigation in a direction. It's kind of tells you about the organs, but it's not necessarily telling you that. By the way, does Hannibal eat any meat that isn't organs, like muscles? I know that organs are muscles, but I mean like other muscles, like this arm. I had a needle on it a couple days ago. It still hurts a little bit because it appears a muscle. Like, would he eat that? An arm? Sort of like a chicken leg, you know? Like, you can eat a chicken leg, but that's not an organ. Could he eat that? Does he eat that? Or does it just exclusively go for organs? Because it's always weird. Like, it's always the weird parts. You see like a heart or a liver or a tongue, and it's like, bro, just a leg. You'll be fine. He does do those little things with like meats where he does like, makes it look like a flower, you know, in the way it's arranged. So maybe that's not like an organ, but it could be. Anyway, so yeah, he's now nudging the investigation, and he's getting information on the investigation because he's too close to it. And he even goes and talks to Will in Will's office because Will was daydreaming. Well, he was dreaming, but not asleep. But he was asleep, but his eyes weren't closed. So he was dreaming about him and Abigail, in the impaled girl thing in the middle, and Abigail refers to him as a dad, and Will's like, yeah. And then she's like, wait, we're not the only people here. And then he hears Hannibal's voice, and then Hannah walks in and is like, Will wakes up. So, but then they start talking about the Cheesecake Ripper, and Hannibal is like, hey, tell me information. And Will's like, yeah, I'll tell you. I trust you. And it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. So he's getting a lot of information, including the idea that, well, he's getting information about what Will thinks the Cheesecake Ripper is like, but also the idea that he's right, and him being right means that he understands Hannibal. In an indirect manner, he understands Hannibal. And because he understands him, Hannibal feels this weird connection to him. Because, oh, he understands me, like a friend would. He doesn't know it's V, but he understands that part of me. So that's fun. But the idea that also he's asking questions such as like, it's like he left his arm in order to rattle Jack. And then Hannibal is like, well, was he? And then Will is like, totally. So he's giving information to Hannibal, like how things are working out. Like he's setting up things as the Cheesecake Ripper, and then as Hannibal Lecter, he's learning about the results of them. So that's he's getting way in there in the investigation. That is unfortunate, and that is like the sole reason why previous episode they were like, it's him, because this episode and moving forward, we're gonna get to see him get involved in the investigation, being like, God damn it, we know something that the investigators don't. Because that is the way you do these kind of stories. You only have like two options: either A, reveal to the viewer who the killer is right away. So then, I mean, and we already knew because it's Hannibal, but now we know he's the Cheesecake Ripper, and then reveal it right away. So then afterwards, you get to have the miscommunication thing in storytelling where the spectator, the viewer, knows everything, but the characters in the show do not. So then, due to miscommunication, or not miscommunication, but like, they don't have the full knowledge of what the events are, but we do. So then it's more tense for us because we're like specifically rooting for something to happen, and it doesn't, and we're like, oh god damn it, you know. You can either do that, or you can do the mystery thing where it is not revealed until the end. But because the show is Hannibal, you can't do that. You can't do the thing at the end where it's like, oh, who was the killer all along? Oh my god, I can't believe it was Hannibal. Like, you can't do that, right? So they have to go this route, and I like, because it works, right? And the other thing I want to talk about at this episode is that near the end, Hannibal actually does save a life. He saves this one dude because, and well, given he saved that dude's life, I don't know if he wanted to save him or not, or more like he didn't care whether or not he was saved or not. But like, this is something I still don't know about Hannibal necessarily, and I feel like we're gonna have to understand as we, like, the show's gonna tell me eventually. It's the idea that, would Hannibal want to save a random person's life if he was able to? Because he did in this episode, but that doesn't mean that he wanted to. Because we were in a situation where Jack Rafford is literally just like, Dr. Lecter, save him. So then he saves him. But did he save the dude because he was put in that situation? Or would he, like, that's something I'm wondering. Would Hannibal save a random person who's dying if he was able to? Because he is a serial killer. He does murder people and he does eat them. I don't know if he does that to every person he comes across, right? Or if it's something as specific where it's like, all right, I feel like eating this guy. Is he completely desensitized to helping others if he can, and if he doesn't feel like murdering them? Right? Like, he murders some people, but then he is able to save some other people. Would that be it? Or does he just not care at all? And the only reason why he saved that person is because they told him to. You know? So I don't know that. I don't know about that. So we'll see as the show goes forward what the actual answer is. Oh yeah, and the other thing is that God, what do you want to say? I forgot. Oh, he mentions about how when he was in ER, he was like like a medic. I don't know what he was, like a nurse or a medic or something. Patients died on him, and that's what made him quit his job and become a psychiatrist instead, so he can help people mentally so they don't die on him. Well, I suppose they could, but no one has so far. Or and he devoted his like knowledge of the meat and everything into the culinary arts. So what I'm wondering is that when people died accidentally on the table, if he was like I like that. You know, I like when people die. Like, he became a doctor, and then, like, he saw someone died on his table, and then he had this weird moment of like, wait, I actually kind of like that. Is that it? Or probably when he was just working as a doctor, he saw like the insides of people, and he was like, that look kind of that kind of want to try that, you know? Like, that probably is what happened. But I'm wondering if people dying on him is what set him off to become a serial killer, or if it's something that just happened and he was already kind of a serial killer, or he was already on the murderous path. I don't know. So that is another interesting thing I want to throw in there. What is the other thing I wanted to mention regarding him being a doctor? Oh, it's the fact that you could theoretically trace back to Miriam, but not fully, because Miriam didn't catch Hannibal as, oh, you are the Cheesecake Ripper. She only approached him as like, I'm following this set of leads, and you were at the ER when this guy showed up, and I was wondering if you knew anything, or if you had anything in your register. And Hannibal was like, oh no, I don't know anything. And she's like, oh, okay, long shot. It's fine. But that means that, but they know that Miriam got too close. So that means that they could theoretically retrace Miriam's steps and arrive to Hannibal like she did. Except that they wouldn't know that Miriam, because like Miriam didn't approach Hannibal knowing that he was the killer. So they wouldn't either. So even if they retrace Miriam's steps, they could arrive to Hannibal and be like, oh, did she question you? And she would be like, no, I never saw her. And it's like, well, then there you go. That's the end of that. But what if she did find it though, you know? It's the fact that like all they need to do is to just think about like, okay, I have this profile of a killer. I have these things that this killer probably does with the body. And also this guy that I know applies perfectly to everything I have with the killer's picture. Oh, maybe it's him. You know, like all they need to do is to like literally draw the connection, because they know the profile, they know the murder of the bodies, they know the organs are out, and then they know this guy who applies perfectly to the profile, and also he offers rare meats. So all they need to do is to just draw the lines, but we haven't yet, because in some way they trust Hannibal, so whatever. Anyway, I think that is it for this episode discussion review. I don't think there's anything else I want to mention. Yeah, anyway. So I think that's it. That's it for this episode. Okay. I got a close-up of a thong. Never mind. Whatever. That's it for this episode. Thank you for being here. Alright, thank you so much for watching this episode of a Hannibal reaction. If you would like to watch next one, it's already up on Patreon, as well as full-length reactions, so check out the link in the description for that, social media, everything else, and I'll see you next time, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.